Oh, would you look at that? Burt has finally got his timing back. He's seems to be releasing the casuals guide for UFC 302 on the Thursday that he normally used to. Yeah, things have settled down a bit, so I'm able to perhaps start keeping to a better schedule. Is what I'm saying. Plus, really exciting night of fights. Let's be fair. Is that Makhachev against Dustin Poirier? Is it a foregone conclusion? Will we see Dustin Poirier pull off the miraculous? Who knows? But the fights that I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, you've got the really fun one between Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa. That's a really fun fight for a multitude of reasons that I will go into in the full video. Holland versus Alexei Shudik. Alexei Alexei, I think. Anyway. Fight of the night for me is definitely going to be Cesar Almeida against Roman Kopylov. Again, for reasons that I will go into in the full casuals guide. So this is designed so that you get the most out of the fight night on Saturday. So you just have a little bit more information about every fighter, every fight. And I try to wrap this up in about 20 minutes or less. So let's get cracking for the casuals guide for UFC 302. Starting off in the flyweight division, we've got Mitch Raposo against Andre Lima. 9-1 playing 8-0. You've got the debut for Mitch Raposo, Andre Lima. I don't know a huge amount about these guys. Raposo, he's really good. He's on the regional scene anyway. He did lose to Jake Hadley for a rear naked choke, but Hadley's really good. He seems to be pretty decent everywhere, but he's not really fought the kind of level of competition he's going to see in the UFC. Andre Lima, Mascote, he's undefeated, 8-0, 5 knockouts, which is that's a very high percentage for the flyweights, if we're being fair. I'm going to go with the undefeated Lima by knockout in that one, but I don't really know a huge amount about either guy, so it'll be an interesting one to watch. Then we've got Aline Perez against Jocelyn Edwards. Now, this one's interesting because these guys have been beefing at the Performance Institute. Apparently, I saw something on I don't know, Instagram or something. I don't know, something on one of the UFC's YouTube channels, whatever. Anyway, I got a beef between Argentina and Panama, between both of them personally. Should be pretty good. You got Perez. She's 9-2 with 4 knockouts. That isn't too bad for the ladies. I'll be totally honest. No knockouts in the UFC yet though. That could be an issue. Edwards, she's really good. She fights long pretty well. She's got that ranginess to her, and she uses the straight punches down the middle quite well. Again, 5 knockouts, 3 submissions. Again, no finishes in the UFC. So that I'm going to go with Edwards just because she's got the reach and she fights long pretty well. But outside of that, who knows on that one. Then you've got Mickey Gall taking on Basil Hafez. Mickey Gall, he's been around a little while. We saw him. He was the guy that took out CM Punk. He then took out Super Sage Northcutt. And then he's had a pretty rough going since then. In a nutshell, Mickey Gall's got fantastic grappling. He's an elite level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, and if he takes the back, he's probably taking your consciousness. It is that simple. Now, Hafez is a scary looking dude. Look how scary that guy is. He looks like one of the scariest guys on the roster. He gravitates towards the grappling. Also, he's got a terrible KO ratio, though. Really terrible. Only a 1. Oh, yeah, that's not good. Anyway, look, as an underdog, I'm going to take Mickey Gall here because standing, Hafez, he really ain't all that. And that's where Mickey Gall tends to struggle with people. Which means that the only option, like Basil Hafez he likes to grapple and he's going to go into the grappling with Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall is a tremendous grappler, like tremendous. You grapple with Mickey Gall, it might be a really bad decision, and I don't see too many other options for Basil Hafez. So I'm going to go with Mickey Gall for the submission as an underdog bet. Terrible bet. That was the early prelims. We're now heading into the prelims, kicking off with Nico Price against Alex Morono. Now, this one, I'm quite a big fan of this fight. 170 pounders, welterweights. Nico Price, look, he's been around for a while. He's a scrapper. He goes in there to scrap. And that's what I like about him. His style is, kill or be killed. He's always in entertaining fights. He also knocked out Randy Brown with hammer fists from the bottom. Anybody that can knock somebody out with hammer fists from the bottom position. That's Hall of Fame material in my book. Anyway, Alex Morono, excellent kickboxer, truly excellent, lovely low kicks, savage low kicks. I would hasten to add, but against guys that will really bring the fight to him, he has struggled before. We saw him get caught out against Santiago Ponzinibbio because Santiago Ponzinibbio took the fight to him in like a really aggressive manner. Now, again, I'm seeing an underdog here that I quite like in Nico Price because his exact fighting style is to take it to his opponents. And Morono, we've seen him have trouble with that before. Price is going to have the leg reach and the height and the reach as well. And I just feel like he's aggressive enough to keep Alex Morono on the back foot until to take the win. I'm going to go for a knockout for Nico Price there. And then you have got Phil Rowe against Jake Matthews. Welterweight division again. Now, Phil Rowe, he's huge for welterweight, 6'3". He's got 10 wins, all finishes, right? All of his wins are finishes. 3 knockouts in the UFC. One of those was against Nico Price, who I do rate. We saw him in the previous fight. Yeah, this guy could be a killer, honestly. When you're getting all finishes and all 10 of your wins, that's pretty good. Getting 3 knockouts in the UFC is hard to do. Jake Matthews he's a sensational grappler out of Australia. Lots of experience he's been in the UFC since 2014. That's a fair amount of time. He's got excellent back takes, and similar to Mickey Gall, like if he takes the back, he's probably taking your consciousness. Rear naked chokes for days. Now, I like Philip Rowe here just because he's probably got a few more ways to win it. He's going to have the reach. He's going to have. He's got a massive reach advantage. Actually, what has he got? 7 inches. That's pretty crazy. He's just going to have better striking, I think, and on the ground, jury's out. But for me, Philip Rowe by knockout, that's what I'm going to go for in that one. And then you've got Grant Dawson against Joe Solecki. Now, Grant Dawson, he's an absolute stud. He's a dark horse in this division. 20-2 with 17 finishes, right? He's a Krause guy, James Krause, the guy. He's a tremendous trainer, but he got into a bit of bother when he was, some sort of gambling thing. I'm not going to go into details on that. But anyway, the guys that trained out of Krause's gym, there was a lot of them really doing big things in the UFC for quite a long time. So anytime you see that he's a Krause guy, you keep an eye out for that when you're researching fighters. He was on an absolute tear. He submitted Jared Gordon, and then he beat Damir Ismagulov. Is it Magulov? Yeah. Damir Ismagulov, who, look, Damir Ismagulov was set to be, one of the next big things, and Grant Dawson kind of derailed that hype train. He got caught very early against Bobby Green, and that's generally the only way that he gets beat so far. He gets caught kind of early. Solecki, he's a grappling stud. He really is. He's really not got much in the way of stand up, and again, similar to Hafez earlier on, like if his only option really is to try and grapple with Dawson, that might be a bad move. But Dawson's probably going to be better in the stand-up as well. This is no prizes for guessing who I'm picking. I'm picking Dawson in this one. And I think Dawson, historically, he only tends to lose when he gets caught with a big strike kind of early on. And Solecki has 0 knockouts. 0. Not a 1. So Grant Dawson fighting a guy with 0 knockouts, where the only time Dawson really struggles is against big hitters, then you've got to lean towards Grant Dawson then, haven't you? So I'm going to take Grant Dawson by submission in that one. And then you've got, for me personally, this is going to be my fight of the night, I reckon. Cesar Almeida against Roman Kopylov. Now, so Almeida, basically, he's a kickboxer. He's 47-8 in kickboxing, right? 5-0 in MMA. Now, check out who he beat in kickboxing. He actually beat one Mr. Alex Pereira in kickboxing. Okay, he did lose to him twice as well, but still, he managed to beat Alex Pereira one time in kickboxing. I'll also note that he never got knocked out in kickboxing. He lost, 8 times, but none of those were knockouts. He has obviously 5-0 in MMA. So from what I can tell, he has never been stopped. That's pretty impressive. Now, Roman Kopylov, he has got insane kicks. His kickboxing really is very high level. It's very relaxed. That's what I like about his style. He's very relaxed. He almost looks asleep, and he lulls people in. And then he just, he seems to be able to strike without exerting too much energy, but he still hits with a lot of power. When you look at the head kick, he landed on Claudio Ribeiro. It was absolutely insane. For me, that was my head kick of the year, 2023. And it was just absolutely beautiful, textbook high kick. And he's just, he struggled against Fluffy Hernandez in the grappling, got kind of exposed in that regard. But this is going to be a kickboxing contest. Now, again, normally I would lean towards Roman Kopylov in these kind of fights, but Cesar Almeida might be a killer. He's never been stopped. I don't know. I'm going to take the Brazilian. I'm going to take Cesar Almeida because I think he might be. This is probably going to be a kickboxing style heavy fight, and I feel like that could favour Almeida. But look, Kopylov could spoil the party very easily. This is why this is my fight of the night, because it's going to be just an entertaining scrap between two very high-level strikers. Obviously, Kopylov's got much more experience in MMA, but Cesar Almeida probably has more experience in kickboxing. I'm going to go Cesar Almeida just because he's not been beaten and it's likely to be a striking-heavy contest. But I'm probably going to be rooting for Kopylov just because I'm such a big fan. But my pick is going to be Almeida by knockout. Then you've got the main card. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Much appreciated. Randy Brown against Elisu Zaleski dos Santos. God, that is a mouthful. Let's just call him dos Santos for the time being, shall we? Randy Rude Boy Brown. He's a good fighter. He fights. His footwork, especially recently, has been outstanding. Like he's started to rely on his footwork an awful lot more. He's got an excellent reach advantage over most of his opponents. He uses his long striking well. His knockout of Salikov was particularly impressive. He's a good fighter, solid. Although he did get knocked out to hammer fist once. I believe I alluded to that earlier. Mr. Nico Price did catch him with that, but that was a while ago. Dos Santos, though, he's kind of a quiet killer. He's been kind of running through people, relatively quietly. He beat Benoit Saint Denis. That's hard to do. Like Benoit Saint Denis is an absolute stud. He's got 14 knockouts. A Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. This guy really is a killer, right? Now, the reason I'm thinking I might go with Dos Santos here is, number one, because he is an underdog, and I love an underdog. We all know that. I love picking the underdogs. But Randy Brown, he's a little bit unreliable to take as a favourite, in my opinion, because it depends which Randy Brown turns up. Sometimes Randy Brown tends to he almost gets bored in his fights, and then he kind of starts making mistakes. It's almost like he kind of gets absent-minded, and he makes errors, and then it costs him fights. Dos Santos is a savage. Go watch your P's and Q's. So I'm going to take Dos Santos by decision in that one, just because I think he's gotten most of the decisions in the UFC. So then you have got Jayton Almeida, the second Almeida on the card, against Alexander Romanov. Now, this is an interesting one because, look, Almeida is a monstrous grappler. We've all seen that. Like or not what he did to Derek Lewis, he did what he had to do. Like, Derek Lewis is a monster, let's not forget. So, and Lewis actually defended quite well in that fight. So, because people are having a go at him for just pinning him down and not finishing Derek Lewis. But Derek Lewis was trying hard not to be finished. So, look, Almeida, he's got some of the best grappling out there. It's not so much just his grappling, it's his takedown relentlessness. He will shoot takedown after takedown after takedown against Sherman. No, it wasn't against Sherman, was it? It was, who the hell was it? Even against Blades, like he was looking good until he got caught with those hammer fists. So look, Romanov, he started his career really well, and then he gained a lot of weight for some reason. Like he used to weigh in around 235 ish, and that was when he was running through people. That's when he was smashing guys like Sherman and who else did he fight? I can't remember the other guy that he fought, but either way, he was smashing through everybody, and then. He gained a lot of weight, and then he just started gassing out in every fight. Now, for that reason, because I can only base this of what I've seen of them lately, Alexander Romanov has not looked like the Romanov that started out. And so Jayton Almeida by submission is probably a pretty safe bet in that one. So that is where I'm going with that one. And then you've got Kevin Holland taking on Mikhail Alexichik, I think. Anyway, look, Holland, he's fantastic. He's kind of good everywhere. He's a black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's got some really interesting striking. He loves to fight. He loves to get into like to dirty kind of contests, and he's very fun to watch more than anything, and that's important. This is entertainment first and foremost. Look, he's got decent striking, but he just got caught out by better strikers more recently. And your Jack Della Maddalenas and your Michael Venom Pages, they're both elite level strikers. Maybe Kevin Holland isn't on that level in the striking. Now, Alexiejczyk, he's got huge power in his hands. He's made a career basically out of smashing people with a big left hand. He battered Chidi Njokuani, and that was impressive because he just walked through everything that Chidi Njokuani had for him and just smashed him with a big left and just knocked him out. And his game plan seems to be able to take punishment and just smash with the left hand. It's no secret what he's going to try and do. He executes what he does very, very well. What is it? Is it well rounded? Is it kind of is it hard to predict? No, but it's hard to stop because people have been struggling to stop it. So for me, this is a tough one. I like Holland because he is good, he is entertaining. But my problem with taking Holland in this fight is I've just watched Alexiejczyk go through Chidi Njokuani. And I feel like Chidi Njokuani probably hits harder and more precisely than Kevin Holland. And Alexiejczyk took everything that Chidi had and just smashed him. I don't see Holland being able to do much to Alexiejczyk that Chidi Njokuani didn't try to do. So for that reason, I'm going to go Mikhail Alexiejczyk. And he is the underdog in this one as well. Taking a lot of underdogs tonight, guys. I feel like I'm going to get a sub 50%er. Going to get a sub 50%er on the card. Can't wait. Can't wait. But then you've got the co-main event of the evening. Sean Strickland against Paulo Costa in the middleweight division. This is a really, really good fight. 5-rounder. That's significant. That's really significant. Now, Sean Strickland, we all know Sean. He's not a power puncher, but he has knockout power. Like he has power, not one punch knockout power. Basically, he's made a career of he spars. He spars every day. He spars all day, every day, and that gives him this elite level timing where he can just walk people down and stay, and he can just get his head just out of the way. He's got like elite timing where he can just get out of the way of punches just enough and then come back with the jab. And his jab is absolutely elite. And he just goes in there and he overwhelms people by just throwing looks at them, and it's what he did to Israel Adesanya. Adesanya couldn't actually keep up with it. Really, really insanely good fighter, and he's really fun. The trash talk is really fun. I'm going to be actually tuning into the press conferences for these ones just because I feel like the trash talk between Paulo Costa and Sean Strickland is going to be absolutely tremendous. Now, Paulo Costa is kind of the polar opposite of Sean Strickland in looks, in everything. Like he doesn't hit with as much volume, but he definitely hits with more power. And against Robert Whittaker, I thought Paulo Costa was actually very impressive. And I'm not taking anything away from Robert Whittaker at all, because and that's a compliment to Robert Whittaker. I rate Robert Whittaker so highly. I thought Whittaker would just like breeze through him. And in some respects, Whittaker did. I don't think Whittaker was in danger at any point, but Costa certainly looked sharper than I thought he would. And now he's fighting again so soon, I think we're going to see a sharper, much more dangerous Paulo Costa, especially with the body kicks. The body kicks are tremendous. And he hits just with, and what he hits you with is effective. Like, he doesn't hit you as much, but what he hits you with has much more impact than most people. I mean, look at the dude. He's built for power. And the significant thing with this is it is over 5 rounds, not 3. Over 3 rounds, I would say Paulo Costa very confidently wins this fight, but it's over 5 rounds. So there is the caveat there. Sean Strickland could well just kind of tire him out and then run rings around him. I'm still going to pick Paulo Costa in this fight just because I feel like he's being slightly overlooked. I think he looked better than ever against Robert Whittaker. And if he hits the body kicks, especially, I think we'll see him go to the body quite a lot with those kicks. And everything that he hits with more impact, and that sways the judges as well. I just feel like we're going to see Paulo Costa possibly get the knockout in this one. I think he catches him probably 3rd or 4th round, and that's a terrible bet because Sean Strickland, over 5 rounds is very, very difficult to beat. And then you've got the main event of the evening: Dustin Poirier against Islam Makhachev for the lightweight title. It's it's Dustin versus Khabib Mark II, because Islam Makhachev is more or less that. Look, Makhachev, he's the best in the world, isn't he? He's just ridiculous because if you don't know who Islam Makhachev is, basically he's an elite level Dagestan wrestler, probably Olympic level wrestler who has tremendous kickboxing as well. All he does is eat, sleep, train. He's just a focused machine, as those guys from Dagestan are. Like all of those could be like team members are just absolute monsters because all they do is train, and iron sharpens iron. Islam Makhachev is just absolutely tremendous. The only criticism is that has he really beaten a lot of the top level lightweights? Probably not, but because his defenses have largely been against Alexander Volkanovski at this point, who obviously is the weight class down. He beat Charles Oliveira. That was very, very impressive. But outside of that, he hasn't beaten a lot of the top flight lightweights. So this is, for me, Dustin Poirier is absolutely tremendous. His boxing is fantastic. He's got very, very high level grappling as well, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. The wrestling probably isn't quite as strong, but his boxing really is tremendous. But the problem I have here is that could Dustin Poirier knock out Islam Makhachev? Maybe. But people point to the loss on Islam Makhachev's record against, was it Rocco Martins? And people say, well, he got caught there. It's like, yeah, he got caught there. So he doesn't get caught again. Like against, I think it was against Oliveira. Like you saw him just be very patient, where he clipped him and he didn't rush in. He kind of checked himself. Now, and that's what he didn't do against Rocco Martins. He got clipped because he got overexcited. I don't think he does that anymore. I think that loss is a benefit. I really do. I think the loss is a huge benefit to Islam Makhachev because he knows now what not to do. And Dustin Poirier, people think that Dustin Poirier, he can. He's just gonna, his game. It's a striker versus grappler. It's not, right? I think that Islam Makhachev's striking is just as good, if not better, than Dustin Poirier's, and the grappling is a no contest. So for me, look, I can't see any reason to pick against Islam Makhachev in this one. I think it's probably going to be quite similar to how Khabib did it. I think it's going to be a submission, probably round number 2. But hey, look, I'm a big Dustin fan. So look, if Dustin can turn this into a dogfight and work his boxing and and hurt Makhachev, draw him into a fight and kind of get him excited and get his eyes off the prize, then if anyone can do it, Dustin Poirier can. But my pick is obviously Islam Makhachev by submission. And yeah, that is all the fights. So that's the casuals guide for UFC 302. I'm really looking forward to this night of fights. It's going to be a good one. Now, I'm going to be doing some terrible bets on Saturday. They're going to be absolutely awful because I think, as I say, I've picked a lot of underdogs on this card. So I think I'm looking at a sub 50% strike rate, which isn't great. But hey, what I do is I try to look for underdogs that have got a chance. And I think that especially some of those underdogs do 100% have a chance, but maybe not. Either way, until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.